welcome back to the TV Squad. And once again, we're foursome and stuff like that. And we like to change up our panelists, to give ourselves a good overall view of the Nielsen ratings. But so we'd like to welcome our good old friend here, Sinead from Movie Squad, which is on hiatus right now.
Oh no, I'm so sad. I miss it so much.
I miss it too, girl. I gotta tell you, I'm jonesing for some movies and everything like that. But it's all good. But it's good to have you back in the chairs and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's
you miss me.
Yeah. Okay. A little bit. All right. But then to keep us away from each other, we got Sean in the middle.
Hi.
He's like Malcolm. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. But again, got my good old
That's
buddy
something
here.
on Disney Plus I need to start watching again, Malcolm in the Middle.
I don't know if I really want to. But Brian Cranston, one thing, but that little kid. Either way, but again, my good man right here, Phil. What's happening, Phil?
Hey, how you doing? It's good to be here.
All right, yeah, no. So I'm always excited about TV Squad because it's such a plethora of different things. We can kind of change it up, but we have such a really strange mix of programs on this particular episode that, who knows where it's going to go. So, obviously what we like to do is we always like to start in the UK because that's where we are. So we always like to start what I like to call old school telly.
Old school.
Yeah, well, it is a bit,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? So when it's old school telly, Phil came in with his recommendation of Cracker. And we're talking about the Robbie Coltrane version, of course.
That's right, yeah. We touched on something last week, I can't remember what program it was we were talking about, where profiling came up anyway in a psychological sense. And it just put me immediately in mind of Cracker, which was the first time I'd ever seen that depicted in a drama. And
This is indeed true.
Yeah, and it made a massive impact on me when it was broadcast back in the day.
What was it like the 80s, though, was it? Or?
No, in the 90s it was, yeah, in the 90s, yeah. So, Robbie Coltrane taking the lead role as a criminal psychologist and profiler
And he works with the police.
working with the police, yeah, that's right, yeah. So,
See, I only looked at it as the Fat Detective, because they like to do that at that time. So, they had in America, we had Nero Wolf, we had Jake and the Fat Man. It's kind of like your brain is in your belly. So that was kind of cool with
Jake
that.
and the Fat Man was a real thing. I thought that was a off-brand Family Guy joke.
No, seriously, it was a real thing. Frank Cannon, bro.
Frank Cannon, yeah. I remember Cannon, absolutely, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So that's where I thought Robbie fit in. But, no, he was excellent,
Yeah.
And, but I've seen, in watching this, I've seen a couple of his episodes, and he was just full on. He was like a volcano in a suit.
Yeah, absolutely right. And we were talking earlier about it as well in terms of the series has it launched so many careers that if you watch a few episodes, you'll see people like John Sim who came to prominence
The Master,
with the Lakes and with
Life on Mars
Life
first.
on Mars.
Oh
that's
man,
right,
Life on
yeah.
Mars! I love that
That's
show.
right.
We got to do that one. Yeah.
So many people. Adrian Dunbar, who's just finished. What was that police drama series which everybody's talking about? Crossing the Line or something. What was it called?
Oh yeah, crossing
the police
crossing
chief.
line.
The police chief in the
Line
Irish-
of Duty.
Line of Duty. That was it. Yeah. So he started out with in Cracker as a young guy, really.
And don't forget Christopher Eccleston.
Absolutely.
It's always surprising stuff like that. I went back. My dad tried to get me to watch Teachers, which I did.
Oh yeah.
And seeing Andrew Lincoln with this
I
big,
love Andrew Lincoln.
real Cockney accent, it's just after first seeing him on The Walking Dead, I was blown away by his voice.
Yeah. Robert Carlyle, another actor that appeared in Cracker. Again, one of his first TV roles.
It was, and actually, what I wanted to talk about was and so if you need to be put spoilers up, even though this is an old show and everything like that, as most of the shows are, but after one season, because Christopher Eccleston, he said, look, I wanted to do this show from the first scene that Robbie did, and everything like that. But after doing a season, he was like, there's nothing for me to go or do with this, so I'm out.
Yeah.
And,
Sure you're not talking about Doctor Who?
No. He
Same
does the
season
same.
wonder.
He does this. He does the same
Same
thing each
scenario.
time. So anyway, so Jimmy McGovern, who wrote the show, was like, we can't lose a guy like this. We can't just like he doesn't just show up. So in the first episode of season 2, you know, he begged them to come back, and he said, "Look, I got a great death scene for you." And everything, and like,
And it's a shocker, an absolute shocker.
and starring Robert Carlyle,
Yeah, that's
you
right,
know,
that's
and
right.
everything. So I won't have to tell you how he died, but you know, it was like, I was just saying, it made me go, oh, Jesus Christ! But this is why, you know, Eccleston is the man.
Absolutely. So Jimmy McGovern, as you say, wrote it and essentially created the idea.
Well, Paul Abbott is
cut
also
his teeth
considered a
on.
Paul Abbott show. Isn't it?
Sorry.
Well, Paul Abbott is also
Yeah,
considered a Paul Abbott show.
but Jimmy McGovern cut his teeth on Brookside, obviously around these parts, and obviously he's such a famous guy now for his writing.
You know, I actually did a Jimmy McGovern movie myself.
No way! You're shocking me again.
I know, man. No,
Tell
no,
us
no,
about
no.
it, Chase. What was that about?
It was called I Dream of Dixie. And like it was actually, you know, like one of those young people's projects that Jimmy's known for doing, and everything. And like there was like 2 films made and everything here in Liverpool, and I got the pleasure of doing one of them, where it was about a kid, you know, who's it's like Little Rascals, and they take his soccer ball and everything, and he got to get his soccer because it's his dad's prize soccer ball. It's an Everton soccer ball.
Oh.
Right, you know, I dream of Dixie, get it? I dream of Dixie Dean and everything, and it's this whole adventure of trying to get the football back. I swear to God, it's really cool. It's on YouTube. But Jimmy McGovern.
Sounds good. No,
But
you know, we digress. But
yeah,
that
exactly.
sounds-
Well, you know, I
sounds
always
really
got,
good.
you know, I always got to. But all right. So then,
So-
speaking of digression, then let's move on over to America. Yeah. So let's move on over to the U.S. For our U.S. Old show, which usually when we do U.S. shows, they're not really that old, but they're older than now and everything. And so this was a real strange one for me. And I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it was called the OA.
That's right.
And everything.
The
And it's not a-
OAPs?
The what? OAPs? No.
Ages.
Exactly. Just because we old don't mean nothing, woman.
When I mentioned it, when I first mentioned it, Chase was going DOA, DOA. What
Yeah,
are you talking
yeah,
about?
exactly.
DOA. I'm going DOA. DOA. No, not DOA. The OA.
OA. So tell
What's
us
that about?
what is the OA?
Yeah, what is it? I don't know what it is.
Seriously, no.
No.
Okay. And Sean.
I've watched the trailer and it just didn't really interest me.
Oh, okay.
Didn't say much.
I know that's
Okay.
judging a book by its cover, but I've already had a lot of shit I have to watch. That's the thing with this show. There's so much you got to try and watch in time.
I get that totally. So we're talking science fiction, existential drama, mystery. The premise it kicks off with a beautiful young woman crossing a suspension bridge in heavy traffic and actually jumping off the bridge.
Just like the start of Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
But not naked.
Yeah, well.
It was naked. You could see her
Oh,
titties.
she what?
Not in
No,
this-
no,
not
Lethal
in
Weapon
this
was.
instance.
Oh,
I'm talking
right,
about
yeah.
the
No,
OA.
she's in like an evening gown kind of arrangement.
With no titties.
Come on, you.
Let it go, love.
If there's no titties, I don't care.
This is a TV broadcasting kind of show.
With TV with titties.
But
Yeah,
she
right.
survives anyway. She survives somehow.
Oh.
What the OA
Shades
stand
of It's
for?
a Wonderful Life as well, don't
Well,
we?
why don't you tell us what they didn't really tell us too much in the series because there was 2 of them. What does OA stand for? Because I think she's called OA,
Well,
isn't she?
Yeah, no, she's.
That's a very bad name.
I know it is, but I
Who
was
looks
like,
at
I
their
was
baby
wondering
and
why they
goes,
call
"Your
it
name
OA.
shall be OA"?
well, the way it works.
Someone-
Unless they were Irish.
Someone on the show is called
OA.
EOA. Anyway.
OA.
Oh, hey.
The way it works out is that she's been missing for 7 years, and they trace her family. And one of the big reveals is that when she went missing, she was completely blind.
Spoilers. Sorry.
That's not
continue.
a spoiler.
not,
Trust me,
it's
you
just a
need
setup,
any
really.
information you can get on this show.
So when she went missing 7 years before, she was completely blind, and her name was Prairie Johnson. And when she comes back, she can see, which is an absolute shocker for her parents, obviously. So she can see perfectly, and she refuses to be known as Prairie Johnson, but she says, "My name is the OA."
The OA.
The OA.
The OA.
Mysterious.
Mysterious.
So and it's also
Identity
there's
issues.
a lot of numerology in this show. Like if you know, because I had to go to YouTube to try and like find out what's going on with the show, and like you know, so there's a lot of things about the number 7 and the number 5,
Yeah.
and all of that.
Yep.
There's a lot of things around. I wouldn't say mysticism, but more like holistic kind of.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah. It's not even science fiction. It's really about. Why are we here? It's really centered on why are we here and what is this all about?
Who are we or who are you?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So the star's name is Britt Marling. I'm not sure if you know what else she's.
Oh yeah, because she was in that movie Other Earth, wasn't she? You know, where there was like a
Another Earth.
where there was a parallel Earth.
You just cannot stand being upstage.
I
Jesus
don't
Christ!
know. I don't know what you mean, bro.
I just figured the name. I just figured it was in the name. I've heard of it. I have heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she wrote along with a guy called Zal Batmangelich. Zal Batmangelich.
Okay.
They wrote it between them.
Batman Gelich.
Batmangelich. He's Iranian.
serious?
I think he's Iranian or Iraqi by origin.
Okay.
So yeah, interesting name. But they wrote it between them. Sean's struggling to stay awake at this point.
No, I've just had a really long day.
They wrote it between them. Then she obviously stars in it. She'd never really acted before, and he directs and produces it between them. Another executive producer I noticed on the credits was the one and only Brad Pitt. So he's involved.
Wow, Brad Pitt.
Absolutely.
Get that money.
They produced 2 seasons, but it was planned to be 5.
Yeah, I think they only did the 2 now, didn't they?
Yeah, so they pulled it after the end of the second one to a lot of disgust, basically.
Because it took a long time to explain OA.
But it was brilliantly done. I mean, really brilliantly done. In my opinion, anyway. That's subjective, I guess. But I absolutely loved this series. I thought it was wonderfully done.
So now, wait a minute. If you knew what OA stand for, let's find out if you would be interested in the series. So OA, after a while, after a couple of episodes, she says OA stands for Original Alien, not Alien,
Angel. Yeah.
Original Angel, Alien.
Original Angel.
Original Angel. So this is about angels.
Wow.
And then what I liked was there was a particular episode called The Overview. You remember that one?
Not specifically, but
Oh,
is it
see,
in
looking
the
at
first series or second?
I think I'm not sure. Anyway, so there was an episode called The Overview where they were dealing with astronauts and everything,
Yeah,
and they were talking about
Yeah.
the view from the moon,
Yeah.
you know, which I don't believe in, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, the view from the moon, right, gives them an overview of Earth, but it gives them a different insight
Yeah. Okay.
into what it was. Probably because from an angel's perspective, you would already have that overview and stuff and everything. And I would have thought that you would at least have seen that episode, because that would have made me interested in the show. Because a lot of people, when they talk about the show, like Brene Brown, who's a famous, social psychologist, she loves the show, but she was saying, I almost turned this off after the first, after the first episode.
Well, there's a huge
But then now I'm totally in love with this show.
Yeah, there's a huge shift at the end of season 1 to season 2 where, I mean, I don't want to give too much away. This kind of is a spoiler.
Give something to make
yeah.
us want to watch it.
Spoiler at this point, but
Spoiler.
we're talking the multiverse.
What?
Oh.
That's what we're talking about here. This is a dramatization of the concept of the multiverse.
Well, why
That's
did
all
you
the
say
rage
that
these
in the
days.
beginning?
Well, I don't want to give too much away, but they're talking about getting through the doorway from one existence to the other, and to do that, you have to die. Essentially, you've got to die. So they
Death leads to another universe.
absolutely. So
Makes
it
so
really
much
is
sense.
big stuff.
Well-
And at the end of season 2, the payoff is well worth the wait.
Yeah, but you could tell why, if it's at the end of season 2, it came too late for it to do its 5 seasons.
But it also explains why there's so many open-ended kind of questions, like why a door is left open, and that you mentioned that the other day, Sean.
Yeah.
Why they never really extrapolated on that. But there was supposed to be another, whatever it is, 24 episodes to go back through that, So it's a little bit open-ended, but I still think it's beautiful in its concept and its its execution, without a doubt. It's a brilliantly put together series. Co-stars Jason Isaacs,
Jason, nice, nice.
Lucius Malfoy, of course.
Of course.
Well, of course, well, you know. Well, both of them are from freaking Harry Potter, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Was that the same guy?
No. Scott.
Shows you I'm not a Harry Potter fan, bro.
But much more, of course, as well on top of that, Jason.
It's
Isaacs.
been long enough to forget a few things about it.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Not all of us can go back and watch the whole bloody Harry Potter series every week.
That's true.
I know some of you out there do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone up there.
It's practically a religion at this point.
Getting closer, yeah. But Scott Wilson plays Owe's dad. His credits include The Heat of the Night, believe it or not.
Well, I mean, he's more known for In Cold Blood,
Yeah.
which I just recently watched.
Yeah.
Amazing film.
Yeah. Dead Man Walking, Pearl Harbor, Walking Dead, CSI. He passed anyway in 2018, so just after production.
R.I.P.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And Alice Krieg plays the Owen's mother. She's from the RSC backgrounds in the Royal
Do you
Shakespeare
know what
Com-
fantastic movie
Company.
Alex Krieg was in?
Tell me.
Ghost Story.
Right,
Did
okay.
you remember that one?
I haven't seen it, but she also played the Borg Queen, apparently.
Yeah, of
in
course
Star
she
Trek.
did, but still, man, Ghost Story is no, forget that. Ghost Story.
Okay.
You know, if anybody knows it, you know, Ghost Story is a fantastic movie.
I'll check that out.
You know,
Okay.
Fred Astaire, Craig Watson, and Alex Krieg as a ghost.
Okay, yeah, cool. Cool. So that's the OA, and I highly recommend sticking with it. It's well worth the payoff in the end.
Well, can you still watch it on Netflix or no?
Yes, it's still on Netflix.
It's a Netflix original, so
Yes, it is,
it'll hopefully be there forever.
Absolutely.
All right, nice
absolutely.
one.
Yeah, spot on.
All right, well, all right. So moving on into our superhero section. You know, this is the section where we like to cover like superhero programming as well as like Disney Plus and everything. And you know, we are at a strange crossroads. You know, this week because like you know, we've been given the cartoon series MODOK.
Ooh.
And everything. Sinead, do you know anything about the MODOK series?
I know a lot about the Murdoch series. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Well, why don't you tell us
So
a little bit about
the
the
Murdoch
MODOK
series
family?
was taken on by the same dude that did Robot Chicken,
Right.
which is a weird little like stop motion claymation mashup thing. It's normally like little shorts every episode, like, and it takes the mick out of pop culture and stuff. But obviously, MODOK is like this coherent episodic thing where MODOK from the Marvel franchise has a family. Essentially, it's very weird.
Wait a minute, MODOK. First, you got to tell people who MODOK is because
So
not everybody
MODOK's
knows.
like the little kind of beans that floats about and has a
Little can of
massive
bean.
face.
He's a big giant head.
Yeah,
has a
big giant head
he
man
has a
with
big
two
head.
little arms, two little legs. But why does he need them? Because he floats about anyway.
MODOK also is an acronym for mechanism. I think it's mechanism
It's
only designed.
he's,
Attack, kill.
He's
The end.
absolutely
killing.
he's so rubbish. He even gets his acronym wrong. We've got mental organism designed only for killing.
That's right.
So he's missed his F out for a start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying. I got caught. I got caught where the F used to be. Played by the amazing Patton Oswalt.
Yeah. So
But I
yeah,
could not understand the family concept because from what I saw, I could never see that he was a normal man transformed.
I thought you were going to say I could never see where his dick was. So how would you?
Well, I was gonna
I was
say,
wondering that.
never seen where he was a normal man transformed into the MODOK. You know, so how does he have a wife and kids?
it's a parody. I don't think you meant to.
All right, that's cool.
Possibly
There's-
overthinking
There's
this.
someone.
Yeah.
There's
I
someone
don't
for
thi-
everyone. Well, he's.
I don't
talks
think
about
he's in the
Down Under.
MCU. If it is in the MCU, I will howl. But I'm pretty sure this is just done completely.
I think they just haven't
Comedy
figured out
purposes.
how to get MODOK in the MCU and for people to actually take him seriously. I mean, you can take him as seriously as you can Howard the Duck.
Yeah, but would you believe that like Jim Carrey was supposed to voice MODOK?
That would have been really
That would
good.
have been amazing, to be fair.
You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of like, I just want to know, bro.
It put me. I've only watched a couple of episodes, obviously for the purposes of this today. But some of the animation, it reminded me of very early Aardman.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
interesting, really fascinating. And it's just kind of a gross out comedy on animation level. Maybe would you
Yeah,
agree
yeah,
with
yeah,
that?
definitely.
I mean, it is Robot Chicken created, isn't it?
Well, I hadn't seen that, so yeah, but it sounds like it's the same creation. It's Seth Green, is that right?
Yeah,
Seth Green.
Seth Green.
That's right. Yeah.
Voice of Howard the Duck.
Yeah, but
Imagine that.
I got to say, it made me smile all the way through and laugh in a couple of places. So it was working for me on that level, without a doubt. I look forward to seeing some more of it for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Well, never got a season 2 offer, but hey, I wonder why. Still, either way, yeah, this moves us into our anime cartoon section of the show and everything like that. We'll come up with a clever name for it. But Faye, who's not here, came up with this recommendation, but at least some of us saw it and everything. And this is the series Disenchantment, which I believe is on series 4 now.
Yeah,
Which
it just
when
came out
When
last
I heard
week.
of Disenchantment, part 4. When I've heard of Disenchantment, I only heard of it as a movie. But
Yeah, that was the Disney movie.
Yeah.
But no,
So tell us about Disenchantment then.
It's crazy. It's the third show by Simpsons creator Matt Groening.
This is true. That's what I
Yeah.
noticed, that they
Right,
look like a lot of the Simpsons
okay.
characters.
Okay.
The way they're drawn.
I'd say it. To be honest, it's a lot more linear in terms of story progression. Like Simpsons or Futurama, you could
That's
literally.
any other episode.
You could
guys, did
could
you
literally
hear that Futurama's getting another
we did.
series?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's true.
Reboot,
true.
reboot. But go on.
Can I continue?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Carry on.
Jesus Christ, dude, calm down. He's like, I'm only talking about Disenchantment.
He's had a long day.
Like he's carrying on like I killed his firstborn. But yes, please go on, Sean.
I'll never forget that. No,
Well, who would?
but like you could go in and watch pretty much any episode of Simpsons or Futurama. You could you'd want to pick
They're
out.
self-contained, aren't they?
They're pretty. They can be pretty self-contained, But whereas Disenchantment sort of has a more ongoing linear story that.
So what's the
carries on
linear
down.
story?
It's just all about it's typical. Obviously Simpsons, modern day family, Futurama, future. It's in the title, and Disenchantment's obviously fairy tale, medieval, past kind of stuff. So it's kind of bringing it all the animations full circle, really, I guess.
I mean, does it
And,
follow a particular character or?
Yeah,
okay.
All right, bro. I feel bad.
Do you want me here? Should I just leave?
Yeah, go on.
Oh my God, go on. you
Sorry,
say.
I'm just on a roll. I'm trying to.
All right,
Yes,
I will face this way on my phone. Go on, Sean.
Wow.
Okay.
That has done it.
Wow.
You can take this part if you want to.
No, it's all you, bro.
Cool, great. So, okay, so yeah, it follows Princess Tia Beanie, or just Bean as she likes to be called, and it's a two main friends consist of an elf named, would you believe, Elfo?
Wow.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
Creatively named Elfo, yeah.
Okay.
And a demon named Lucy, who's voiced by Eric. What's his name?
I thought you knew her.
No.
I thought this was your little moment to shine, Sean.
All right, fucking sulk then. Someone will, in the comments will tell us. And he's a comedian basically, but it is basically just that kind of adventure, and obviously being typical fairy tale, it's all destiny and fate and all that stuff, and they do tease how bloody stupid it is.
Right, okay. So is there any link into Enchantment? Well, that was one of my favourite
It's on Netflix, isn't it?
ever films.
Oh no, Enchantment is a great film, but it
yeah.
has nothing to do with Enchantment.
Disenchantment.
Which also, I just said.
No,
it
you
had
said it.
I said Enchantment. He's talking about the Enchantment, the film.
Yeah.
I said this has nothing to do with Enchantment, but they actually are working on a sequel of that.
Okay. Yeah.
And everything.
That's good news too.
So Disenchantment, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Worth looking at. And
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it's had a few it's had a few ups and downs over the years. What?
Sinead, would you like to perhaps post an opinion?
No, I'm good.
Fine.
No, Sinead, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, it's definitely obviously part 4 came out like last week, so you've got 40 episodes, so it is definitely binge worthy.
I don't know if that's actually supposed to be like because it's saying it's out in parts. So I think it's still they're saying it's still technically in the first
Yeah,
season,
it's
just been
parts
split into 4 parts, even though it's been years since it first released.
Yeah, I mean it kind of went under the radar as well. Like every kind of like, you know, we normally do like us in the animation nerdy community all have like, you know, we have our schedules, we know what's coming, and I feel like this one was kind of like, oh yeah, by the way, Disenchantment, here we go, because I think last year it came out around Christmas time, so, and then obviously this year it's come out in February, so everyone was like, oh yeah, that's a thing that happens.
So what is it, like a movie or a series?
No, it's a series.
It's a series.
You can definitely tell, like, the characters are definitely got that Matt Groening shape with the sort of top lip that sort of comes out a bit more than the
duck bill.
Yeah.
Again, it is ended on a cliffhanger, but
They all
you
end
have
up-
to watch it.
They all end on a very similar. I'm not going to spoil it, but it is a very similar cliffhanger every time, with like the same character coming in at the end. It's like it's not even a cliffhanger at this point. We're kind of expecting it.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I guess I would have to check it out because I haven't really been, you know, thinking about. I think I've always often been confused as to is this a movie or a series or whatever. And stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, how many episodes is each one?
About 10.
Yeah, every part is like 10 episodes, which is why it's kind of like season episode. I don't know.
I'd say it's
Matt Groening, what are you doing, lads? Like, what's going on? Are you okay?
Hey,
It's a
this
short
is the
emo
guy
phase.
who's made like more than 365 episodes of The Simpsons, so I would,
Yeah.
you know, I wouldn't ask him what.
I feel like
he's
it's
doing.
definitely the most. I mean, it's still young adult, but it's definitely it's one of the more adult shows out there because of the more some of the more deeper language. I mean, Simpsons and Futurama, at least in the DVDs, can get away with saying stuff like "you bastard," or "you son of a bitch."
Well,
like
I guess before we go, I guess it's kind of like when he was doing The Simpsons.
For something for the kids show, it makes drinking look very, very fun.
Yeah, I think when he was doing The Simpsons, it was like everyday life. And then remember, like when he came out with Futurama those many years ago, you know, it's kind of like, you know, I want to do something beyond The Simpsons. So what I'll do is I'll do the future, and what would the future be like? And so now this is his way of, okay, I'm going to do the past. So I'm going to go back into the past to this historical fairy tale kind of thing and create this champion.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's like it gives him. He's a master of time because he's
Matt Groening, the master of time.
Well, yeah, but
Miss Minutes
he's got his people.
could never.
He's got his people all over the time verse.
I'm intrigued. I'm going to give it a look, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean there has been a few references as well to other stuff, especially Futurama. I mean, at one point someone's wearing a toupee shaped like the main character from Futurama, Fry. So there's always a reference here and there, and it's true. I mean, Futurama started off like that, but they sort of acknowledged The Simpsons as a show, and yet they did one thing where what's the term?
Fucking? I don't think that was the
Fucking.
term.
That's not the right word.
I think it was the right one.
Collaborated.
Yeah,
Right,
collaborate.
yeah.
There's a
Oh, they had a
there's term for it.
crossover.
Crossover. There we go.
Oh,
Jesus Christ!
There we are.
I'm gonna choke
Yeah,
myself.
I mean, I feel
Wow.
Disenchantment's very Futurama-esque in that you've kind of got, like, you know, the three. You've got the girl, you've got the numbskull, and you've got the arsehole.
Oh yeah.
So where it's
I mean,
Leela Bender and Fry.
Lucy is literally her personal demon.
Yeah.
Right.
Although he's got a
In fact,
soft-
one of
he's got a
his
soft
one of
spot
his
there.
best lines from the first one, which it's not a spoiler. I mean, it's literally in the trailer. He says like, if I had my way, I'd love to get rid of all the diseases plaguing mankind and replace them with worse ones.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Sounds like MODOK.
Yeah. Well, now we know why they're together. So anyway,
Yeah, I'll have to give that a
A lot
go.
of a lot of good like cool cameos as well. We got a Noel Fielding's in it as the executioner.
So we're going down that trend
Yeah.
as well. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
That's cool, yeah.
Matt Berry. Matt Berry is as a prince turned
Of
to a
Steamland.
pig. Sorry.
And then there's that guy with the really nerdy voice that's in all the British
Oh,
comedies, and
yeah,
he's the king of Steamland.
Yeah.
I
The,
don't know his name,
I
but
know the
you'll
one
know
you
his
mean.
voice.
the black guy from IT Crowds. That's
Crowds,
the
yeah,
You'll know
yeah.
his voice. He sounds like this.
Richard
There
O'Reilly.
you go.
There we go.
Yeah,
It's his
yeah.
second name I can never pronounce.
Yeah,
AOID, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So that's interesting. So that's got the same
all
concept.
out
I
of
guess.
milk.
I like that. That they introduced like cameo performances. I like that's a really great thing to do. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. All right. So that brings. Well, all right. That's cool. So this Chapman can be seen on Netflix and everything, and that brings us to our box set session and everything. And we changed this at the last minute and everything, and then so what we're doing, we're going to turn it over to you, Sean, to talk about the excellent series Lie to Me.
Yeah, so it was first recommended by you, but I'd already seen it on, like, not actually seen it, but I'd seen it, like, I'd hovered over it on Disney Plus when I was flicking through different stuff to watch, so it did sound intriguing. And then you mentioned it, and I just decided, you know what, episode 1, give it a watch, and I ended up really enjoying it. I mean, it's all, I think it says at the start, it's all based on, like, real research into, like, reading the way people, like, because even when you try your best to look so normal, there's even the smallest part, the slightest twitch on any part of your face that apparently gives you away.
Yeah, it's like called like micro impressions and stuff like that, and
Body language.
you know, and but what's amazing about it is like, you know, because you can follow this on YouTube now, where you know people are like reading people's facial cues and all of that, and because they explain it in a meticulous kind of way, it like you start to go, you know, when you start looking at your friends. So, how does my dress look?
And what's he
then they
really
go,
saying? Look, you know the answer when they say,
Now,
how does my dress look? You know what the answer
let
there
me
is.
pause for a second. Look up at this guy. Yeah. So this is starring.
Always gorgeous.
Oh, this weather we're having.
Yeah. So this is starring Tim Roth, who's like amazing because he also has another series called 10 Star on as well. But I mean, like this was like pretty cool because Tim Roth has that kind of. Or he tries to have that kind of swagger to him and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah,
because
I
he's not
mean-
like a cop or but he owns the organization, doesn't he?
No, it's not police, but he works very close to police. And
Yeah.
as usual, you get these people who aren't police, and yet they're so good at the job, it annoys the real police because they
Yeah.
can't do it right.
Yeah, exactly.
And like,
Or they
he
have
has-
to come to you as a
But
specialist.
he has the great support of the FBI. I don't think it's as prominent in this series. Like, I think eventually people do realise actually he knows what he's talking about because he's just caught me out lying. So I think it was just mostly annoys people that they can't lie.
Yeah. But I mean, so is that what he's doing every week? It's like,
Basically, yeah, every time. And then obviously it's not just him. It's called the Lightman Group. He owns a company that specializes in facial techniques and not techniques. It's the
micro impression.
micro impressions. Yeah.
Right. So, on a technical,
So it's like how they are able to use that in different things, like in court or, you know,
Basically,
witnesses.
yeah, basically,
testimonies. Yeah, and everything. So it's like, but it's a little bit more interesting than that. I mean,
There's that one where, like, I mean, it's not a spoiler, but it's one where you get that guy who's like he was a serial rapist, and yet he was so hard to read because he was so cool and like he's so
like a sociopath.
yeah. Oh, a proper socio-psycho. Pretty much every EO.
All
You
the
can-
pathways.
All the pathways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the pathways to the American Psycho.
And like, I mean, they bring in one of his victims because afterwards he literally burns their eyes with acid. And when they bring her in, he's like, they're like, oh, because they're reading his vitals as well. He's like, okay, he's getting aroused by this and stuff. And yet, that's something I feel like could have waited until like near the end of like one of the seasons or something. Because I think it happens like midway through, and that feels like, you know, because it's obviously so hard he's much harder to read than anyone. So it really gives him such a huge challenge.
Why was he like a story arc? You mean like they were going
Sort of, yeah,
going
yeah,
after
like a
him
story
over-
arc,
yeah.
something that really challenges him towards the end, and you wonder if he's ever going to actually know if he's lying or not.
Yeah, but I mean, it sounds good in a way because it's like when you have a nemesis that could go on over a couple of episodes, you know, because you could imagine this concept is not like an episode of the week kind of thing. So it's like they're just trying to track someone down that's hard to read.
Gotcha.
You know, especially because he's like sociopathic. You know, I mean, it sounds really more intriguing than every week I gotta prove somebody's lying.
When was it launched?
I think it came out around 2010, or
So it's quite okay. It's quite. Yeah.
I think it ended in
And
2013.
how many seasons? You know,
3.
3 seasons. That's worth a look. That was.
It's a worthwhile box
Definitely
set.
worth a look. It is a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. No, nice one. All right, so like because our lovely Faye had made a recommendation last week that she was going to talk about and she's not here, you know, I had to change the recommendation for this week and everything. And I picked something fairly new that I'm hoping that you guys will be interested and you guys will pick up on. And like there's a channel or streaming service called Peacock. Because it's you know, named after the NBC Peacock symbol.
Oh, yeah.
And everything, and you know, but basically, how many of you remember the Fresh Prince of Bel Air?
I remember the Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Rings a bell.
all the way down the line.
Bel Air.
Absolutely.
Rings a
Come
bell.
on, man.
Where you
know?
from? The
What-
Bronx mainland. Where you from? 155.
Where you from? Anyway, so
Probably should have picked that as a box set because honestly, I love that series so much.
well, they brought it back as
What?
they do with everything.
Not. It's not a continuation of the original comedy. I just want to say that.
So it's because it's not a comedy; it's a drama. They brought it back as a drama series. So
I
like
think
you know,
it was after they made that fake trailer, wasn't it? Like a mock trailer of didn't they like a few years ago they made like a fake trailer of it and
oh right, no,
The
I
old
don't know about
King
that,
Bel
but I
Air.
mean like. Well, what's interesting is like, you know, they did have the big reunion of the Bel Air cast, and there was that whole big thing about Aunt Viv, the original Aunt
Yeah.
Viv coming back, and her and Will Smith being able to see each other after like about 20-some-odd years.
Wow.
And the woman playing Aunt Viv in this show looks exactly like the original Aunt Viv, you know, which is amazing. But anyway, so this show is the showrunner behind the show is Marcus Spellman, who was the guy behind Falcon and the Winter Soldier, who did a really good job on that. You got the original producers like Will Smith and Benny Medina and everything. But this show, I was going to avoid it, right? Because I'm like, I really don't care about who Bel Air, Prince, whatever, and all that. Until I watched it. And so they dropped all 3 episodes at once. Right, you know, to get people interested, and I was hooked from like the first like 10 minutes because I didn't realize that they were seriously dramatizing it. So you know the opening song, right?
Yeah.
This is a story all about how
I think the entire world knows the opening song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I did it. But like the whole point was because this was created in the 90s. And Will Smith was like nobody, you know, he was like, you know, a rising rap star and everything.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of like, let's just Disneyfy this before Disney,
Yeah,
right? Let's just make
Yeah.
this a complete cartoon, clown, sham kind of show. And so it's palatable and everything. And then as we were talking about it, after, you know, a couple of seasons in, then the seriousness started to unfold.
Yeah.
So they started to show pure seriousness with what was the incident that caused him to come to Bel Air. And it was like, you know, like a shootout on a basketball court,
Oh shit!
you know, and everything, where he actually is the one who pulls out the gun.
One
So-
little fight.
Well, you know, girl, there's no such thing in Black Lives Matter of one little fight because, like, what happens is the cops come in, you know, he gets busted and stuff like that.
So who plays?
This
Will?
this actor named Jabari Banks,
Yeah.
you know,
Thanks.
well, I didn't think about that, but yeah, no relation. But you know, he's fantastic. He looks a lot like a young Will Smith and everything. And basically, his uncle gets him out of jail free, right? You know, because
Yeah.
he's running for DA and everything. And they move him to LA because the guy that he was in a fight with is a local drug dealer. So they're trying to save his life. He can't just walk the street, you know, and stuff like that.
So it's like witness protection.
Pretty much.
Without the witnesses.
But then he, as a young man, has attitude, you know, so he takes a minute to rein in. He wants to do his own thing, so he's still doing the whole, like, you know, costumes and shucking and jiving and stuff like that. But what's great is that the family, like, so Hillary is a social influencer, social media influencer.
Oh, of course.
And, you know, Carlton is still Carlton, but he's not, like, funny Carlton. You know, he's Carlton on drugs. And I'm just like,
Scary prospect.
whoa.
Sorry, do you mean that literally or figuratively?
Yeah, no, literally, because it's a drama. And I'm like, well, what's going on with this show?
I mean, obviously, other than that one episode where Carlton took drugs, but then he didn't know that it was drugs.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
just doesn't
exactly.
sound right at
Yeah.
all.
No,
Oh my
no.
God.
But it does. Trust me,
Is he
bro,
still made
you
fun of him for his size, or is that gonna...
Well, his sister says that, you know, Colin got clothes here because he thought he was going to have a growth spurt, and he didn't. So you could probably fit these clothes.
Oh,
He is short. The guy that got him is short. And you know what's funny is that Jeffrey, the butler guy, you know, plays it like Idris Elba. And he even calls him Idris at one point. He's joking. Because he's British, you know, and everything, you know. Anyway, you know, this show was just amazing. It just goes like fire, you know. First 3 episodes just dropped, you know, like
Sorry,
all at
dropped
once.
on what?
Online.
Peacock. Peacock.
Yeah, on
oh,
Peacock.
sorry, you did say that.
Online, yeah.
But is that available through
Online?
just YouTube? Sorry. Okay, fine. Sorry. My apologies. I wasn't following there. Sorry. Just online. Yeah. Okay, fine. I get it. Whoops. Keep up. Okay, but I love the idea because obviously underneath that comedy in the original series was a serious story, of course.
Well, yeah, and you know what? They didn't go heavy-handed with it. You know, you gotta. What's really interesting. Last thing I'll say. What's really interesting is that as you know, like Uncle Phil was rich. You know, he was a lawyer and everything, and like what they play up is the fact that he had some pretty big successful cases. Where he, won, and obviously, he gets percentages off of that. So he's got this big fancy house, and people were like, not really attacking him for it, but look, dude, I'm just doing my job. Yo, man, how much you pay for the house? None of your business. Well, how much you make? Why should I tell you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But, that's the realness of it. But then again, is that, there's no heavy-handedness of, obviously Black Lives Matter and, these things are important. But I like it how they just play it like, you're a regular person and don't fault him for his wealth. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And because it should be about his belief and everything. But anyway, this show is really good. I mean, what do you guys think about the different direction of the Prince of Bel Air?
It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've always been such a huge fan of the original, so I wasn't too keen on the idea of one that dramatises it or just remakes it in general. But obviously, even Will Smith has showed a great support. I mean, he... I don't think he did a live, but I think he tweeted about how much he liked the mock trailer of the of the person who dramatised it originally. Again, I think that's what sort of gave the idea to make a full series out of it. And I suppose it does honour it in a way, as long as it keeps it humorous in its own real life situation sort of way, the same way any drama tends to.
I've got a lot of affection for Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I used to watch it with my kids, so it goes back that far, and they absolutely loved it.
And like, it's one of those comedies that did have its moments that they really did take seriously, whether it was a racial profiling or
well, we were talking
parents who walk out on you.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about that. It shifts from outright comedy to pathos after it's established itself, as Chase mentioned earlier. They start getting into really serious discussions about obviously black life in America at the time, and and it was really affecting, really emotional.
I mean, obviously, I wasn't brought up around that time, so when I saw the episodes where like they find out one of the sisters of Vivian's going out with a white man, and you literally see a camera shot just sort of go along them, and they're all like, a white man.
How could you, Vivian?
I know, and literally our other sisters,
it probably was
like,
much
I can't
bigger
believe
on the
you're doing this.
Jeffersons.
Again, I wasn't brought up at this time, so I didn't know why it was such, like, I thought like you're kind of doing the same thing like you hated white people for doing here.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to think of it. I was like,
you're definitely a child of the 80s and not the 70s.
I'm a child of the 90s.
I'm a child of the 50s.
I was trying to help you out.
I'm a child.
I know. I just want to establish I'm not that old.
Okay. What about you, Sinead? Before we go, what do you think about the idea?
I don't know. It feels like they've taken one line from the song, made a whole thing out of it. I mean, I guess it is interesting because, like, I kind of just assumed from the song that it was just like a schoolyard scrap, but then there was always that kind of
the
thing.
way it was done.
Yeah, and then you kind of always kind of thought, well, actually, like, imagine having a rumble at school and then you just going live with the auntie and uncle and that's it.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
But it's the thing though that made me think like, yeah, exactly. Why did he go all the way to Belair just for that?
There's only one reason. There's only one reason, and that
but that's why it made more sense. Like when you showed why, it was. And I mean, I'm leaving stuff out, so I'm not being spoilery. But a lot more stuff happens.
I mean, one thing I definitely hope they do keep in is like the slow builds up between the relationship of Phil and Will.
Yeah,
I mean, from the beginning, he just thinks he's a bit of a degenerate, but then at the very, very last episode, he even says like, "No, do you know what? The moment I saw you playing the piano, I knew from just right from then you had potential."
And
so
that's the beautiful episode. When he plays the piano, it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that's the first ever episode, I think.
Wonderful, yeah.
You know, I gotta just tell you, I mean,
and as much as you like that, you get annoyed by him. Like, I mean, the point of that episode where, like I mentioned, family abandonment, and like Will's dad comes back and needs to leave again.
Yes.
Honestly, that moment at the end is just so heartwarming.
Yes.
But as heartwarming as it is heartbreaking.
Yes.
played by the amazing Ben Vereen. And like the thing about it is, I gotta tell you, it's like young men, and their fathers and or father figures in their lives. I mean, this show, I can't tell you how much this show, just in the beginning and starting off, how it does so well with that, and especially like when you say about the relationship that develops between Will and Phil and stuff like that, and you're going to enjoy it. It's just amazing because it's not forced, in that way, but it's like, it's natural. So it's a really good thing. Oh, there's also a Jazzy Jeff character in this.
Oh, of course.
And everything like that, he doesn't get thrown out of the front door. But I think he will eventually.
Is he still a little sleazy?
Yeah, because
constantly hitting on Hillary.
He's like a local cab driver who brings Will in from the airport, and they become friendly.
And is he always wearing the sunglasses?
Yeah,
no matter what time of the day?
Exactly. His name is Jazz and everything, and because it's funny because it's like, he tells Will, oh yeah, you got to pay for the cab, so he tells him like it's 150. He said, oh well, let me go in the house, and then Jeffrey's already there. It's like, how much? He said, oh, it's 200. All right. I like you, bro. I'll be back. Anyway. But yeah, so that's Bel Air. That's my recommend and everything and stuff like that.
Cool.
And and I guess that brings us to end the TV Squad this week and everything. And again, another great eclectic amalgam of programming and stuff like that. But we will actually cover because it's the time that these come out as well. That's what I was trying to say. That we're going to do more of that superhero section next week, where we do a full breakdown of Peacemaker and Boba Fett and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So, until now, I want to thank Sinead.
Oh, no, thank you, Chase.
Sean.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, Phil.
Great to be here.
All right, and the chase. Well, what can I do, bro, but say that the chase is on.